Now that I put it into go-kart, the sound is a bit deeper, I would say. The Icon has returned for a 5th or 4th generation, depending on how you look at it, and this time it's more serious than ever about full electrification. We've flown halfway across the world to very sunny Sitges in Spain to test drive Mini's all-new electric hatch, which on the one hand carries with it advancements in technology, practicality and even playfulness, but still wants to be the same familiar feeling as well as lovable hatch that we've always known. So, is this still the same Icon that we've always loved? Let's find out. I think it's safe to say that the Mini Cooper Electric is instantly recognizable as a Mini, and that is down to the retention of a few things that we've always recognized from the brand, chief of which, of course, are these oval-shaped headlights at first, that you see on first glance, and that retains the very dull-eyed demeanor that the previous car had. Also retained its all-round glass windows as well as its floating roof, and also this very vibrant colour which Mini has called Sunny Side Yellow. But of course, the Mini has evolved in many other ways, and if we peer a bit closer, these differences will become a bit more apparent. First of all, the car has actually grown bigger than before, but because it's built on an all-electric dedicated platform, its wheelbase has been lengthened, overhangs have been shortened as well, and that still helps it to retain its cutesy, very hot hatch-like demeanor. Other differences to note, this car uses what Mini is calling a charismatic simplicity-inspired design philosophy, and that focuses on a reduction of elements. So we don't have these protruding plastic black wheel arches on the side anymore, and that places more emphasis on the body colour. Also, we don't have those chunky door handles anymore. These have become flush into the car entirely. And one benefit of this is that Mini says that it has managed to reduce the drag coefficient of this new Mini Cooper Electric to 0.28 CD, making it more aerodynamic than before.
On the note of charismatic simplicity, another thing you'll notice about the car is that the use of chrome has been reduced entirely. With the Cooper Electric's significantly slimmed down octagonal grille now, you instead get other materials. Our car has black gloss, but other trims can get a vibrant silver finish too.
But I think by far the largest difference that you notice is when you come around to the rear, with these new triangular shaped taillights that the car has now gotten. I know some people have made some comments on this, but I think this design really grows on you after a while. They still retain the Union Jack motif that the previous car had, and we also have this black strip that runs across the tailgate to emphasize the width of the car, as well as this very, very strong shoulders at the side. And I think this marks a very nice, tasteful but still recognizable evolution that this new Mini Cooper Electric has brought with it. This marks a good time for me to talk about nomenclature. So in the past, the 3-door Mini was what we knew as the Mini hatch, and with that we had the Mini 1, the Mini Cooper, as well as the Mini JCW. Cooper used to stand for a variant, so the middle of the range car that had a bit more power, a bit more equipment. But now Mini has kind of changed things up in its lineup, and Cooper refers to the entire model line. We have the Cooper C and Cooper S, those are the combustion-powered variants of the car. But this is the Cooper Electric, as I've been referring to it since the start. And there are two variants, the Cooper E as well as the Cooper SE, which is what we have right here.
As your entry point to the range, the Cooper E gets the same sort of power that its predecessor, the Mini Electric, got. 181 brake horsepower and 290 Nm of torque. One change, however, makes it immediately more appealing, and that is extra range. The Cooper E's 40.2 kWh battery gives it 305 km of WLTP rated range, which is significantly higher than the 230-ish km that the Mini Electric used to eke out. But the Cooper SE is really where all the clearer upgrades can be found, which we'll talk about in just a bit. Returning now to the car's physical form, this is still a 3-door hatch that's less than 4 meters long, and that means expectations should be managed for space. Its 210-litre boot, effectively the same size as before, is really only good for soft bags or small suitcases, for instance, and getting into the rear requires some dexterity too. Having said that, this new electric platform has certainly made life in the second row better. Headroom is definitely better, legroom is not too shabby either for this size, and you also don't feel like you have to fight with your rear passenger for shoulder space.
But I think up front again is where you note just how much of a progression this new Cooper Electric has taken over its predecessor with this completely redesigned space. This is something similar to what we saw on the Countryman, which we drove a few months back, and once again relies on that charismatic simplicity design philosophy that Mini is now interweaving into all of its cars. So we get a reduced usage of materials here to keep sustainability at the forefront. We have this knitted texture on the dash, which comes with its own patterns depending on the trim levels that you opt for, and also these seats are no longer in leather, once again coming with their own patterns, which are very nice. Another key highlight of this new cabin is the fact that we have these 3 key elements that have been directly inspired by Sir Alec Issigonis' original Mini, which are the sporty steering wheel, the rounded speedometer that takes the form of this rounded OLED display. I'll come back to that in just a bit, as well as this central bar with toggle switches. So this rounded OLED display really, to me, is the highlight of the new Cooper Electric on the inside. It stays true to the circular theme that we've always loved from Mini, but now does so in a really optimized and all-out manner. In the past, we had a circular cluster with a rectangular screen. Now that basically fills all of the space that we see here. And interestingly, the operating system 9 that Mini has designed and developed for this is also optimized to this rounded display, so we get functions that line the sides. I must say that if this is your first time using the system, it might seem a bit overwhelming at first because there's just so much to dive into. But I think it's a very, very fascinating and also very appreciated switch and progression from what we've known from Mini. Another thing that I want to talk about is this toggle bar. So with the way buttons are being reduced in the car world right now, I think it's very interesting to see what functions car makers still retain for their physical buttons. On this central bar, you'll see that I have my gear lever over here. It may seem a bit unorthodox at first, but once you start using it, you realize that it's actually very nice because all you need is a finger's flick to change from reverse, neutral to drive. The final two buttons that we have are for volume over here, as well as this experiences button, which is very interesting. Mini has designed 9 different experience modes for the new Cooper Electric, out of which 3 are actual driving modes: Go-Kart, Core and Green, which do exactly what their name suggests. It's Sport, Normal and Eco, basically. And then the rest are specially designed experiences for you to feel the car in a different way. I would say my favourite is Timeless, and I'll show you more of that when we're on the road later on.
Of course, however, style isn't the only focus of any Mini. Driving is really important too.
Where the new Mini Cooper Electric will feel perhaps less drastically evolved from its predecessor is in terms of its driving character from behind the wheel. So as mentioned earlier, we have 2 variants of the Cooper E right now, which are the Cooper E as well as the Cooper SE, the one with the more powerful electric motor as well as the larger battery, and that is the one that I'm currently driving. This has a single motor that sends 215 brake horsepower as well as 330 Nm of instant torque to the front wheels. Gets the car from 0 to 100 in 6.7 seconds, which is not slow honestly, although not particularly quick as well. But that's fine. I mean, the Mini Cooper Electric, or the Mini Electric, if you're referring to the previous car, you liked it not because its performance was ballistic, but because it had a very perky, peppy nature. You know, it's kind of like this little puppy that's very excitable, very eager to get going, although not bounding like a cheetah when at full trot. And I think that this new car stays true to that character. Especially with an electric drivetrain, power delivery is smooth and linear and instant, so the car feels very, very nippy. Best of all is the fact that the steering is still very direct and very responsive to your inputs. As with before, the suspension is towards the stiffer side. It's not exactly the most comfortable car to drive in. But then again, if you wanted the comfort of a larger vehicle, there's the new Countryman to go for. So with comfort as your utmost priority, shopping for the Mini Cooper Electric would be... you'll be looking in the wrong place already, you know what I mean? For those, however, who are looking for like a sportier, more engaging drive, this is where the Mini Cooper Electric can excel. I must say, however, though, that because the car's wheelbase is longer now and because its batteries are mounted underfloor, you get a very low center of gravity in this car, and so as a whole, the car just feels more settled and more composed, no matter whether you're driving at higher speeds or even in the city where the road surfaces are a bit more imperfect. So that's a good thing that we appreciate from this new car. And most importantly, with the Cooper SE's 54-ish kilowatt-hour battery now, you get a WLTP rated range of 402 km. So on the whole, it's a vehicle that can go further than the previous Mini Electric could. Another thing I want to comment about the new Mini Cooper Electric is the fact that its brakes feel really, really well modulated and don't have that sort of inconsistency in linearity as you're stepping down on them. They feel very, very well modulated, and that's all the more remarkable considering that this car also has regenerative braking system integrated within it. So what that really does is that it gives you confidence to shed speed as you're approaching tighter corners or bends. It just makes driving the car very predictable and relaxing because you don't have to constantly question where the biting point is. And Mini tells us they've actually spent quite a fair bit of time trying to perfect these soundscapes to make the driving experience in the new Cooper Electric, Cooper SE a bit more vibrant and interesting, I would say. It may seem a bit weird at first, but I think it's very easy to get used to after a while. Let me just hold behind for a while, then we can And there are even kind of like digital pops and bangs for when you floor the pedal and lift off after. A very interesting mimicry of what you would get in the normal ICE car, which I think has been rather tastefully executed in the Mini Cooper Electric. In any other car, you might say that this is a bit gimmicky, but you know, fun and quirkiness are qualities that you expect from a Mini, and I think on this level, the sound that we're getting in this new Mini Cooper Electric is quite interesting and quite entertaining, in fact. Let's try again. I wanna make sure you guys can hear the pops and bangs. Hold up. Okay, there you go. Okay, I think the pops and bangs are a little bit on the softer side, so you might not hear the but they are in the background. Now that I've put it into go-kart, the sound is a bit deeper, I would say. A bit more boomy. I think one of the questions I had in my mind when I first saw this new infotainment setup by Mini with this rounded OLED screen was how functional it might actually be. Because, well, in theory, the concept looks cool. Of course, you want it to work on a day-to-day basis. And also worth noting is the fact that this head-up display in front of me, we haven't confirmed yet whether it's going to be standard equipment in Singapore. So if that doesn't exist, then you're effectively really going back to the basics of the original Mini, where it was just a rounded speedo here, your steering wheel, and then the bar with the toggle switches. And maybe I can't really deductively conclude how the experience might be like, because I actually do have the head-up display in front of me. But if I pretend that this isn't there, I feel like this screen actually reads out everything in a very clear and detailed manner, that you won't be feeling the lack of a conventional driver's display too much. Chief above all is the fact that the speed is displayed very, very clearly on the top of the screen. So you can very, very clearly monitor the speed that you're doing when you're driving. Another thing that I like is the fact that this screen really has been designed to display information in a manner that's optimized to its rounded shape. And the most important thing is when you want to adjust aircon, especially in Singapore, it's just over here. And I don't have to dive into any other menus. I just tap once and you can see the aircon has gone from 21 to 22 degrees already. It's just a single tap. So on that front, I think Mini OS 9 has been calibrated quite well, I would say. There is a bit of a learning curve, undeniably, especially when you're on the go, because of just how expensive this operating system is. But as a millennial who is perhaps excited by new pieces of technology, I do like this infotainment setup quite a fair bit. I don't think that it will be too difficult to wrap your head around after just, a day with the car. I'm in go-kart right now, but I'm feeling a bit nostalgic, so I'm going to depress this experience button here. Let's take it down. No, I don't want eco mode, I don't want vivid. There we go. Timeless, which displays everything in this sans serif font with, this wraparound speedo, this kind of beige pastel-y background. And even my head-up display has changed, although you can't see it on camera. So the speedo has taken on the same font, and yeah, it's just all so cohesive and consistent, I really like what Mini has done with the infotainment setup. Another part of the Mini operating system 9 is the fact that you can now control everything with your voice. So even if this system feels too unwieldy for you, you can just speak to it to get your basic functions accomplished. Hey Mini, where is the nearest McDonald's?
I have found these results.
Oh. Wow! 4.2 kilometers away. Great.
Is this the icon that we've always loved? That's the question we sought to answer when we first came to Barcelona or Sitges.
The Mini Cooper Electric hasn't lost that unique touch that we loved from the original car. It's not exactly a go-kart, honestly. I would say that it's much more a philosophy rather than an actual driving experience that you get from behind the wheel, especially considering that this is what it is in terms of size. But I think it does retain its excitable, very engaging, very involving hot hatch experience, despite it being electrified as well. And on that front, I think Mini has done very, very commendably. So there you have it, guys. That was a very, very quick first look at the Mini Cooper SE. What are your thoughts on Mini's new foray into the age of electrification? Let us know in the comments whether you like this car, especially in this sunny side yellow paint. And as always, don't forget to like and share this video if you've enjoyed it, and also subscribe to our Sgcarmart YouTube channel. Also, we are on TikTok, so follow us at Sgcarmart for more of the fun stuff. For now, that's all from us from very sunny Barcelona. We'll see you in the next video. Bye! Down back crying at the gym. We have a bit more history, so I'm gonna just go down on these experience button here. That sounds bad, sorry. Not go down on this experience button. Bad. You and your dirty brain, oh my god. I'm feeling a bit nostalgic, so I'm gonna go down. Stop saying go down, oh my god.